And we're back to this great matchup between Mr. Wrestling 4 and Out of Control Matt Carlos here on APW Gym Wars TV. I am Donovan Diamond alongside with Mr. Matthew Theall, the self-proclaimed greatest mind of professional wrestling.
Self-proclaimed, it's also a fact. Matt Carlos has been in control of this match through most of the break. It seems as though Mr. Wrestling number 4 might be finding his opening.
Well, it looks like the holds being exchanged are over with, and now it's time for these two men to get down to the nitty-gritty. Gut-wrench suplex by Mr. Wrestling 4. That's a move you don't see lately in professional wrestling. That's a move trademarked and used mostly in the 70s.
Matt Carlos trying to shake out the cobwebs, trying to get his focus back heading into this match. Focus is very important when it comes to wrestling a veteran like Mr. Wrestling number 4.
Matt Carlos firing back with a shot to the midsection, only to get a European uppercut by Mr. Wrestling 4. But after the Irish whip reversal, delivering a huge drop kick to Mr. Wrestling 4. Deep cover and only a 2 count.
At this point, Matt Carlos has to be wondering, after a couple of losses to Mr. Wrestling number 4 already, what is it going to take to finally beat this man, this masked grappler here at APW?
Well, to tell you something from being in the ring in past, you have to stay on your opponent. You have to dedicate everything, drive, determination every time you step into that ring. And through all adversity, try to remain on top to gain that victory. But a loss can come from out of nowhere, because Matthew Theall, it only takes 3 seconds to lose a wrestling match.
Mr. Wrestling number 4 looking to get a figure 4 on it, it seems.
And that's the trademark of Mr. Wrestling 4 as he works over the leg of Matt Carlos.
Figure 4 as well as the $1 million knee lift, both of them can come out of nowhere. But of course, we cannot ignore Matt Carlos's Union landing turnbuckle move. That can come out of nowhere as well. We've seen him do it off of other wrestlers.
Huge suplex by Mr. Wrestling 4 and another pin attempt. Only a 2 count there. Referee Sparky Ballard right there on the action.
From the long conversations that Matt Carlos and I have had privately in my office, I do know how much training Matt Carlos has put into this match, going up against Mr. Wrestling number 4 for the 3rd time, hopefully trying to get that victory.
Matthew Theall, are you trying to tell me that Matt Carlos meets with you privately?
On a regular basis, Matt Carlos can be found in my offices.
Do you also own a unicorn farm? Because if you do, I'd love to see that.
And a 2 count. Mr. Wrestling number 4 kicking out. Matt Carlos with another pin attempt. This could be it.
Duck under that clothesline into a schoolboy and a small package.
Matt Carlos trying to pull out all the stops here.
Both these wrestlers keeping referee Sparky Ballard on his feet. Huge snap suplex. And another pin attempt.
And Carlos has to be getting frustrated at this point.
Matt Carlos just hasn't found that niche yet, what it's going to take to keep Mr. Wrestling 4 down on the mat for a 3 count.
There you go, Matt Carlos staying on top of Mr. Wrestling number 4.
Goes for a body slam.
Must be a little tough for someone like Matt Carlos to lift someone like that.
I'll tell you what, both these men have been in this ring for quite some time now. Fatigue has to be setting in. And a huge neck breaker by Mr. Wrestling 4. That may be all he needed to get the victory in this match.
Just got to crawl himself over, cover Matt Carlos, hook in the leg.
Matt Carlos showing determination. Neither one of these men want to lose this match. This is a key opportunity. One of these men could become the next #1 contender for that worldwide internet title that could be held by either Dave Dutra or Rick Luxury at the end of this program.
Matt Carlos and Mr. Wrestling number 4, both no strangers to championship opportunities, but both of them not being able to pull the trigger. If one of these men can get another championship opportunity, it could be the one.
Huge Irish whip into the turnbuckle, putting everything he had into it, now going for the cover, but only 2.
And of course, I guarantee whoever wins this match and whoever potentially moves on to face Dave Dutra or Rick Luxury for the championship will be getting an offer from my lawyers to have me standing in their corner.
Irish whip again, 4 in the corner. Forward roll into that back elbow, caught by Mr. Wrestling 4, and a huge, devastating backbreaker.
Sparky Ballard doing the right thing, checking on Matt Carlos.
I don't know, both men down on the mat. I don't know if either one of these men have what it takes to continue. They've been going at it full force. Cover. And Matt Carlos still has the fire to kick out at 2.
I'm going to have to be honest with you. I'm a little surprised about how balanced Sparky Ballard has been in this match. As I said before, every time he referees one of my matches, he seems to be pulling to the side of my opponents.
Well, Matthew Thiel, the word in the back, and you didn't hear this from me, is you're quite the slime ball.
Thank you, actually. I wear that as a badge of honor.
And there it is. He finally gets that drop-down roaring elbow.
Going for the cover. This one could be it.
That was a trademark move by Matt Carlos where he rolls into that springing back elbow, and it still wasn't enough. There's the Union landing. He's going for it. 4 reversals. 1, 2.
Was that a handful of tights I saw?
Matthew Thiel, neither one of these men are pulling tights. They do not work for you.
Well, if Mr. Wrestling number 4 wants to walk away with a clear-cut victory, he better start pulling tights, gouging eyes, and pulling at the hair.
Speaking of pulling tights, ladies and gentlemen, later tonight, Wrestling Personified Rick Luxury will square off against Double D Dave Dutra for the Worldwide Internet Championship. A championship that both these men, Mr. Wrestling 4 and Out of Control Matt Carlos, would love to strap around their waist here in the near future of All Pro Wrestling Gym Wars.
Matt Carlos feeling the effects of this match, pulling himself to his feet, using the ropes for help. You see the tired look on his face. He's
huge European uppercut.
He needs to reach down deep inside him to find the... Oh, there it is. Reaching down, kicking Mr. Wrestling number 4 right in the face.
Mr. Wrestling 4 started to juke and jive.
I do believe he calls that one the Matt Liner.
Well, whatever he calls it, it could be effective to get a victory here with the cover. 1, 2... Matthew Thiel, he put everything he had in that pin, and Mr. Wrestling 4 still kicked out.
The frustration has to be building up to its maximum with Matt Carlos right now. If he wants to win it, he needs to pull something out. He needs to do something that he's never done before. He needs someone like me to tell him what to do next.
Matthew Thiel, Matt Carlos has already tried to apply that Union landing. It's in his sights. I'm just waiting for the opportunity, as well as all these fans, for him. There it is. He's got it hooked, but Mr. Wrestling 4 is still locked on. He's reversed it into a backbreaker, into a reverse DDT, and a cover.
Just a 2 count. Matt Carlos able to kick out one more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have your DVRs or your VCRs set to record. This is an excellent match today on All Pro Wrestling Gym Wars TV.
Look at, he's gouging at the eyes of Matt Carlos. I can't believe it.
That's not eye gouging. That was an infamous claw made famous down in Texas for world class by the Von Erichs.
That was that giant $1 million knee lift. Mr. Wrestling number 4 trying to pull Matt Carlos in for the cover, but accidentally knocks him out of the ring.
Matt Carlos may not get up for a 10 count. He seems to be out on the floor.
That $1 million knee lift has put plenty of people out here at All Pro Wrestling,
including your stable of gentlemen, Larry Blackwell and Corvus.
We don't talk about that.
Mr. Wrestling 4 getting Matt Carlos back in. All he needs is a cover, and this match could be as good as done.
A weak cover by Mr. Wrestling number 4. Matt Carlos able to get the foot on the ropes. Excellent ring awareness by the young man.
That's just showing the heart of both men, knowing where they're at and the dedication it takes to pull out a victory here at Gym Wars.
Matt Carlos busting out. This could be Union landing. He hits it.
All Carlos has to do, and Mr. Wrestling 4 spills to the floor. Another countout could be at hand, Matthew Thiel.
Cannot believe Mr. Wrestling number 4 was cowering away like that.
I think he was knocked out from the momentum, tried to roll into the ring, didn't know where he was because he was dazed and rolled to the floor.
Matt Carlos should just stay there. Let Sparky Ballard count the man out. That's a victory. The bell just rang. I do believe we've reached the time limit of this match.
Ladies and gentlemen, both these men, Mr. Wrestling 4 going for a pin attempt, but the bell has rang. We've reached our 15-minute time limit draw. The crowd chanting for 5 more minutes. You're watching All Pro Wrestling here today for Gym Wars TV.
Let's get the official announcement here from the ring announcer, Julio Pedrosa.
Referee Sparky Ballard has said 15-minute limit has reached. Therefore, it is a draw.
A draw. What does this mean going into Worldwide Internet Championship opportunities?
Well, I believe both men will have to compete again.
Dave Dutra, the worldwide internet champion, Double D Dave Dutra. The belt's looking good on you. The belt's looking good. You know what? You're from West, right? How's your technique? I'm just trying to ask you.
Hey, the knee will be fine. Why don't you tell me?
Hey, come on, man. Come on, Paul. Why does it gotta be that way? Why does it gotta be that way, Double?
Listen, you want to bring Rick out, and then we'll get something going.
Well, if you want Rick out, you got it. That's right, baby. You got him, Rick. You got him. Come on, man. What you doing, dude? What you doing, dude? What you doing? You got him, Rick? Rick, get him. Break his knee! Break his knee! Get him, Rick!
I like the looks of this right here.
Oh, it looks good.
It looks really good. See you later, Dutra.
Take care of that knee. See you, champ.
Marcus Mack, Pink Mink, Inc. Hope you guys are proud of what you did to my knee a few weeks ago. Banged it up pretty bad. And let me tell you, these last few weeks, been a long, hard road to try to rehab this knee in time to meet you right here today on KFTY. But let me tell you, my knee is just fine. You guys try to take an easy road to the Internet Championship. Try to attack me from behind. And you know what? Quite frankly, I expected that out of someone like you, Rick. In the last 6 months, I've faced numerous opponents, honorable wrestlers. But Rick, I think you're the first challenger that I've had that I can't say so. I can't say that you're an honorable wrestler. In fact, you're about as dishonest as they come. You too, Marcus. And let me tell you one other thing too. You guys weren't the first person to try to take me out of the game, try to injure Double D. In fact, it was almost exactly a year ago that Vinny and the association tried to do the exact same thing. And we all know what happened to Vinny in the end. But you see, the difference is, Rick, it's not going to take that much time for me to end you. It's only a matter of minutes before I see you out in that ring. Rick Luxury, Double D Dave Dutra is going to take you out right now for the Internet Championship and embarrass you, embarrass Marcus Mack, and show the world, especially all those Double Dziacs out there, why I will remain the APW Worldwide Internet Champion.